our guiding light, Mobed Meheraban Firuzgari in Iran, our guiding friend, the Ravanshad, late Mobed Soli P. Dastur, my mentor and facilitator, Mr. Meher Amalsad, Mr. Noshir Dadrawala for support, and for technology, the recordings, the live streaming, and the shared information around the world to Mr. Yazdi Tantra, for my inspiration to Mr. Shazneen Munshi, and to all the people at the ZTFE where the prayers inspired me to start this program, including our Mr. Malcolm Debu, Mr. Dalal, Ervad Pada, Madan, Poonwala, writer, Vedvar and Vajifdar, and for encouragement to all our elders, including Mr. Potel and Dr. Firoz and Mrs. Shazneen Munshi, and to all our elders, including my parents and the parents of all those around the world. In the next slide, we'll take a look at the team that puts this program together. So we're very grateful to Ashur Zarathustra. Yes, Dee, please move on to the next slide, please. Thank you. Parsi Khabar, Zoroastrians.net, Parsi Times, Parsi Junction, Amordad News, and Worldwide Zoroastrians for sharing this information and the messages of Ashur Zarathustra. The core team of Mr. Meher Amalsad, Mobed Firuzgari, Mr. Yazdi Tantra, and Mr. Noshir Dadrawala, together with Mr. Arzan Samwadia, Arvat Kobad Zarolia, Brigadier Behram Pantaki, and Mobed Sahib Zarir Bandara, together with our young youth leaders around the world, Ervad Sahib Yazad, our ambassador, Ervad Yazad Unbala, Ervad Kotwal, Ervad Bhandara, Dinaz Karbhari, Benaz Nanavati, who looks after our Instagram page. Thank you, Benaz. Dinaz Tavadia, Mazarine Katrak, and Leah Contractor. Before we move on any further, may I request Yazdi to stop the screen sharing for a moment and invite our Yazad Ervad Turel, Fravash Turel, to give us a short Hamvandagi. And like our youth around the world, so dedicated, Ervad Sahib has a school day tomorrow, and he is with us way past midnight today. Thank you, Ervad Sahib. Over to you.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity and I would like to say two Yathar Veus and one Ashim Vahu. Yata Uhu Verio, Ataratur, Ashar Jit Hacha, Vangayush, Dasda Maningo, Sholtananam, Engus Mastai, Shatim Cha, Orai, Ayim, Darigopio Daradvastarim. Yata Uhu Verio, Atharatush, Asharachit Hacha, Vangayush, Dasda Maningo, Sholtananam, Engus Mastai, Shotim Chai, Orai, Ayim, Darigopio Daradvastarim. Ashim Vahu, Vaishtamasti, Usta Asti, Usta Ammai, Hyadashai, Vahishtai, Ashim. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ervad Sahib, for your kind blessings. We will now have a short introduction. Yazdi, may I please have the next slide, please? To the program. So the Bahumata talks follow a certain method. We share Humata, the concept from the prayer. Hukta, actual lines from the prayers with their meanings, even if they're very short lines or words, and then the speaker's own interpretation for action. After that, we would like you, our audience, to have your own thoughts shared. So please raise your digital hands, and then our Yazdi Sahib will unmute you. You can ask questions and share your own experiences with your Atishkade, your Gyaris. And as Mummy says, it is our Dasturjis and Ervad Sahibs who inspire us with our knowledgeable elders. So please share those stories with us. Our first speaker is from Iran, and on the next slide, we will see the introduction to our first speaker. Next slide, please, Yazdi. And my gratitude to Mr. Meher Amalsad, my mentor and facilitator, for arranging our speakers and writing the biographies. Mr. Houman Farvahari from Iran is not able to be with us today, but we are grateful to him for sending his recording. Is a dedicated and committed engineer and Mobedyar from Kerman, Iran, who has served as the cultural advisor to the Zoroastrian representative in the 6th Consultative Assembly, MP Dr. Korosh Nikam, former member of the Parliament of Iran, and is truly making a difference within our Zoroastrian community in Iran for over 20 years. Mabadiyar Mr. Houman Farvahari holds the Mabad rank from the Mabadiyar rank from the Council of Iranian Mabads in Iran. He has had an awesome journey of Mabadiyar training with the cream of the crop and best of best Mabads in Iran. And I thank Mr. Meher Amalsad for writing this biography, as he does for all our biographies. Mr. Houman Farvahari first trained under Ravanshad Mabed Jahanbakhsh Yazdani from Yazd, and then for a short time under the Mabedani Mabad Ravanshah Dr. Rustam Shahzadi in Tehran, and then under Ravanshad Mabed Rashid Rostami and Ravanshad Mabed Faridun Rostami in Kerman. And finally, he was trained under the able guidance of a highly respected and revered Mabed Meheraban Firuzgari, the head priest of Iran. He is also the holder of a researcher and teacher degree in religions and the history of ancient Iran from the Council of Iranian Mabads. And he obtained a BSc degree in irrigation engineering from the Islamic Azad University branch of Kerman and a master's in Master of Business Administration, Industrial Management Institute in Iran. He's the holder of organizational leadership and financial management degrees throughout his career, has performed varied roles and duties in the travel agency, including national and international airline ticketing, hotel reservations, and other parts of the normal air industry of travel. He advises his clients about passports, vaccinations, visas, and the other excursion requirements for resorts. On the next slide, we will see the remaining part of his introduction. Thank you, Yazdi. Mr. Farvahari, as a tour guide, provides his clients with area-specific travel information, geographic features, safaris, desert tours, etc., and other special points of interest. He dedicates his time towards tending the Kerman Fire Temple as a Mabadiyar, for which we are truly grateful for his kind services. He is also involved in performing incoming tours and serves as a teacher for tour guide courses, including the history of Iran, Persian and Zoroastrian traditions. As a teacher of philosophy, he also teaches the history of ancient Iran. He also teaches Zoroastrian religious courses in the Zoroastrian Society of Kerman and is also a member of the Cultural Commission of the Zoroastrian Society of Kerman and has served as the head of the Cultural Commissions of the Zoroastrian Society of Kerman. He's also the cultural advisor of the Zoroastrian representative in the 6th Consultative Assembly with Mr. MP Dr. Korosh Nikam, the former Member of Parliament of Iran. And from 2002 to 2013, Mabadiyar Houman Farvahari served as the manager of Puyandegan Ra-e-Asha Educational Company. He's also served as a member of the Amordad magazine editorial team and as a manager of the Asha Languages Institute Rafsanjan from 2001 to 2007. Professionally, he's a consultant, expert, and research manager in the Anahid Consulting Civil Engineers, an engineering firm offering professional consulting services to a wide range of clients in the fields of transportation and structural engineering. And since 2014 until now, Mr. Houman Farvahari has been serving as the official business consultant in Human Resources Department in cooperation with International PDA Company in the Middle East, in the Organizational Change Leadership Department and Professional Financial Management, as well as Finance Organization Department. Thank you, Mr. Yazdi Tantra. I request Mr. Yazdi Tantra now to play the recording of Mr. Houman Farvahari, who could not be with us due to internet connection issues, but has very kindly sent in a recording along with a professional translation. Thank you, Yazdi, for playing the recording for us.
به خوشنودی اورامزدا.
In the name of God,
درود به همه دوستان و همراهان گرامی گروه امتا.
I would like to say a big hello to all members and friends of Humata Group.
سپاس از گروه همتا و جناب مهر عملساد.
And a special gratitude to Humata Group and Mr. Mehr Amalsad
که منو دعوت کردن به این برنامه.
because they invited me to this program
که امروز در خدمتتون باشم و درباره نور و عشق سخن بگم.
Today I'll tell you about light and love.
همونجور که میدونین در این زمانه در سرزمین مادری به خاطر اینکه زنان و دختران ایرانی خواسته هایی رو داشتن، ما اینترنت نداریم و من نمیتونم به صورت زنده در خدمت شما باشم.
I had a plan to have a live program, but there is no choice. We need to present this program as a recorded one.
و ما این برنامه رو ضبط کردیم همراه با دوست خوبم جناب آقای محسن شمس که زحمت ترجمه این برنامه رو بر عهده گرفتن.
And I would like to introduce my best friend, Mohsen Shams, who will be interpreting my words throughout this program.
امروز در مورد نور و عشق سخن میگیم.
Today we will talk about light and love.
اون چی که مهمه ما باید بدونیم که ما 2 تا خرد داریم در اوستا.
What matters here is that we have got 2 types of wisdom in Avesta.
نخست آسنو خرد هست
First of all, Asnu Kharad,
که خرد ذاتی هست و خردی هست که از هستی بر ما نهاده شد.
which is a kind of inner wisdom. It has been given to us by the universe.
دوم خرد گوش و سرود و خرد هست
The second type is Gushu Surudo Kharad,
که خردی هست که ما از پیرامون خودمون در گیتی آموزش میبینیم و یاد میگیریم.
which is a type of wisdom that is gained through learning. It comes from the environment around us.
در اینجا میخوام بگم که ما 2 تا تعریف میخوایم بکنیم.
I'm going to offer 2 definitions.
ما به آسنو خرد میخوایم بگیم گوهر
Asnu Kharad is called the inner wisdom.
و به گوش و سرود خرد اون نوری که ازش میاد میخوایم بگیم نور.
And Gushu Suruno Kharad is defined as the light we gain from our environment.
ما در اوستا هم 5 بخش معنوی داریم برای انسان.
In Avesta, there are 5 parts related to spiritual aspects of humanity.
نخست فروهر
First of all, Farvahari,
که نیروی راهبر انسانها در هستی هست
which is a driving force for human beings.
و هر آنچه که هستی آگاهی داره در فروهر هر موجود وجود داره.
And this universal wisdom, this universal understanding resides inside the Farvahari of each human being or each being.
دوم روان هست.
The second one is called Ravan.
روان یا همون روح انسان
Ravan or the human soul
که میزان شناخت و آگاهی ما هست نسبت به هستی و فروهر وجودی خودمون.
which is an index indicated the level of our understanding of the universe and Farvahari.
که برای هر موجودم گوناگونه.
And it is different among different human beings and other beings.
چون شناخت ما از نظام هستی و فروهر درونی خودمون هم گوناگونه.
Because our understanding of Farvahari and the universe and the world we live in can be different.
سومین بخش وجودی انسان بعوزه نام داره
The third part of humanity is called Ba'ozah,
که اون حس و بوی موجودات هست
which is defined as the feelings or senses that beings or human beings possess,
که باز هم برای هر موجودی گوناگون.
which is different among all the things that live.
چهارمین بخش وجودی انسان دعنا هست
The fourth part is called Da'ana,
که نیروی تشخیص راه و مسیر زیستن موجوداته
which is the ability to distinguish the way of life among living things.
که بتونن مسیر روشن زیستن خودشون رو بر پایه نقشه فروهر و توانایی روان، میزان نور روان مشخص کنن.
So that they will find the right path of life according to Farvahari and their inner wisdom.
پنجمین بخش جان هست.
The fifth part is called John.
جان نیرویی هست که میان بخش‌های معنوی و بخش‌های مادی موجودات ارتباط ایجاد میکنه.
John is a driving force that connects spiritual and material aspects of people.
حالا ما میخوایم ببینیم که عشق در موجودات و نوری وجودی که در همه موجودات هست ولی میزانش متفاوت است چگونه تعریف میشه.
Now we are going to talk about the definition of love and how this inner light can be different among living things.
عشق رو من اینگونه تعریف میکنم که برداشته شدن فاصله ها میان موجودات هستی رو من عشق میگم.
I defined love as this: removing or eliminating distances between living things.
یعنی که من وقتی میخوام یار زندگیمو انتخاب کنم،
Which means when I'm going to find my life partner,
با کسی این کار رو میکنم انتخاب من بر پایه نزدیکی وجودیه.
my choice is based on lack of distance. My choice is based on being near to each other.
در مورد هستی و پدیده های اونم همین گونه است.
The same thing happens in the universe and universal events.
من میتونم یه درخت رو تو بغلم بگیرم.
I can hug a tree.
من میتونم حیوانات رو در بغلم بگیرم.
I can hug animals.
و به تمام هستی و موجودات عشق بدم.
And I can express my love toward the whole universe and all living things.
این عشقی که من میتونه از وجودم بیاد بیرون،
This love which can get out of my inner soul,
که همه موجودات میتونن اون رو توی چشم من، توی لبخند من، توی سخن من ببینن.
which can be seen through my facial expressions, my smiles, my eyes.
این عشق منبعش میزان آگاهی هست که در گوش و سرود و خرد من نهفته است و اون نور وجودی منه.
This love, the source of this love comes from Gusho Surudo Kharat, or the level of my inner wisdom, my understanding of the universe.
و هر آنچه که من بتونم جهان پیرامونم رو در هستی کشف کنم
And whatever I can discover from the world I live in,
و پاسخ پرسش‌های درونیمو بدم
and find responses to lots of questions that I have got inside,
این نور در من گسترده تر میشه
this light will be expanded in me.
و من میتونم عاشقانه بیشتر هستی رو در آغوش بکشم.
And I can embrace the universe with love.
سپاس از اینکه منو گوش دادین.
Thanks for your attention and listening to me.
امیدوارم که تونسته باشم پاسخ پرسش شما در این برنامه رو داده باشم.
I hope I will have given the right answer to your question in this program.
در پایان میخوام به این نکته اشاره کنم که
In the end, I would like to emphasize this point that
ایران شهر بزرگ سرزمین مادری ما
the great land of Persia, our motherland,
در درازای تاریخ بسیار تاریخ پرفراز و نشیبی داشته.
Throughout history, it has seen lots of ups and downs.
و این سرزمین مقدس که همه ما میدونیم اسمش در اوستا هونیرس و بامی است.
This holy land, which is called Honires and Bami land in Avesta,
سرزمینیه که زادگاه پیامبر ما اشوزرتشت هست.
is a place where our prophet Ashuzartosht was born.
و سرزمینیه که مال و مربوط به دین زرتشتیه.
And it's a land which belongs to the religion of Zoroastrian.
و زبان این سرزمین زبان فارسی هست.
And the language of this land is Persian.
برای اینکه ما بتونیم مفاهیم آموزه های اشوزرتشت رو خوب درک کنیم و بفهمیم،
In order to understand the teachings of Ashuzartosht,
نیاز هست که زبان فارسی رو یاد بگیریم
we need to learn Persian language
و به فرزندانمون آموزش بدیم.
and teach this language to our children.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mabediar Farvahari, for your kindness in sharing this pre-recorded video with us and your thoughtfulness for getting it translated for us. Thank you. Thank you, Baba Meher, for arranging our speakers from around the world, including representing all parts of the Zarathushtri community worldwide. Our next speaker, it truly is a distinctive honor to introduce to you Ervad Sahib Farvash Turel from Hong Kong. 14-year-old Ervad Sahib Farvash Turel is an outstanding youth moped in our Bahumata webinar. And in this photograph, which Mr. Yazdi Tatra has so kindly shared with us, you can see both him and his elder brother,
Ushan.
I forget, Ushan, thank you very much. Thank you, Uncle. And the dedication of these two brothers is such that even on a school day being tomorrow, Ervad Sahib Fravash is with us, well past his bedtime, I'm sure. And this is a testimony, I would say, may I have the next slide, please, Yesti? And to me, this is a testimony of the dedication of their parents. So my deepest gratitude to their parents and the parents of all such young Ervad Sahibs around the world who are continuing to give us this knowledge by first gaining it from their elders. Let us look at the life of Ervad Fravash Turel before we request him to speak for us. He is setting a classic example of following his father's as well as his brother's footsteps in Hong Kong and serving the religious and spiritual needs of the Zarathushtri community in Hong Kong. Both his father, Ervad Sahib Kaivan Turel, and brother, Ervad Sahib Ushan Turel, have been our Bahumata speakers from Hong Kong, for which we extend our deepest gratitude for their commitment and their dedication with all our love and light. Ervad Sahib Fravash Turel's parents, Mehru and Kaivan Turel, say, and we quote, "On the 30th of March 2008, at midnight, the nurse gives a newborn baby from the postnatal ward to his mother, Mehru, because his crying woke up all the other babies. That is Fravash for you, named after Fravashi, our guardian angel." Ervad Fravash Turel is a warm, funny, loving soul with a passion for hiking, music, cooking, and rugby. How do you get the time for all this, Fravash Sahib? Ervad Fravash also enjoys running, bicycling, swimming, and reading. He plays the clarinet in the school orchestra and takes an active part in dramatics. However, his most treasured possession is Loki, his dog, which makes him a compassionate animal lover. Along with his older brother Ushan, Ervad Sahib Fravash underwent his Navar and Martab initiation ceremony at the most prestigious Dadar R.N. Rustam Faramna Gyari on the 25th and 28th of December 2018, respectively. Ervat Fravash follows his brother's footsteps and has become a proud Mabed in time to participate in his cousin's Naujot ceremonies. As an ordained priest, Mabed, he also takes his priestly duties. He takes his priestly duties very seriously and regularly performs Jashan ceremonies both at home as well as at the Zoroastrian Association in Hong Kong. Moving up to grade 9 this August in an international IB school in Hong Kong, Ervat Fravash shows an interest in subjects such as science, music, Chinese, and media. And we wish him the very best in his career endeavors. With much gratitude, may he continue in his commitment to excellence as he values honesty and values being a good person, as well as staying happy. Ervat Fravash, thank you very much for being our respected Bahumata speaker today. And our deepest gratitude to your parents and brother. Over to you, Ervat Sahib.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity, and that was a lot of words about me. So today I'm going to talk about how life is a sample of our example. And I just want to repeat that I'm very happy to be here today and to get this opportunity to talk to everyone. So, to put this into simple words, you could ask yourself, what example do I want to set in life so that others can follow? I'm 14 years old and I'm not sure what example I'm setting on others. But what I am slowly realizing at this stage is that my actions, my beliefs, my values are strongly influenced by my parents, my older brother, and my upbringing in general. I noticed that I'm punctual just like my mother, and I have started focusing on my physical fitness just like my brother. And consciously or unconsciously, I'm following the footsteps of my father who leads by example. Take, for instance, becoming a priest. Living in Hong Kong, we are not in the midst of our religion. We can't physically see our religion, instead, we feel our religion through our daily prayers, through the teaching of our parents, by observing things around us. My father does his kasti religiously at least twice every single day. He does Jashan ceremonies at our Zoroastrian house here in Hong Kong, and he does Navjots and weddings of family and friends. Without saying a word, my father convinced me to follow his footsteps just through the sample of his example. Talking about prayers, let's look at these lines from Vispa Humata, which, as you would know, are to be recited thrice during the Habange. Vispa Humata, Vispa Hukata, Vispa Harishta, Baudho Varshta, Vispa Dushmata, Vispa Dujakta, Vispa Dujvarishta, Noit Baudho Varshta. What this means is that all good thoughts, all good words, and all good deeds proceed from a wise mind, and all evil thoughts, evil words, and all evil deeds do not so proceed. Vispa Humata, Vispa Hukata, Vispa Harashta, Bahishtim Anguim Asheta, Vispa Dushmata, Vispa Dushakta, Vispa Dushvarishta, Achishtim Anguim Asheta. So this talks about how all good thoughts, good words, good deeds leads to one's best existence, and all evil thoughts, evil words, and evil deeds lead to one's worst existence. Vispanemcha, Humatanam, Huktanam, Harshtanam, Vahishta Angoahai, At Hacha Chitrim Ashone. The goal of goodness in thought, word, and deed is the best life in the realm of light. When we take any action, whether through our thoughts, talking to people, or take any action when it is driven by the good mind, we will lead by example. I am not sure how when I will lead through someone through my example, but all I know for now is that my life's purpose is to be my very best self and to do my very best in everything that I take on. As is mentioned in the Care for Mazda prayer, Care for Mazda Guna Gujirishnara Gunam Ashiravan Dushamra. This translates into to gain the reward of good deeds and to win the forgiveness of for my sins. I perform righteous acts for the love of my soul. Thank you.
Simply, superbly explained, Ervad Sahib Fravash. We are
Thank you.
deeply grateful to you. We wish
Thank
you the very, very best in your journey of excellence and in sharing the wisdom of Asho Zarathustra Sahib with us around the world. May you continue from strength to strength.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me this
Mazo,
opportunity.
thank you very much. And most gratitude to your parents for teaching you and dedicating their time to continue this tradition of passing on the Mobedi to you.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes. Thank you.
Our next speaker is a distinguished young leader from the United Kingdom, Shazneen Munshi. She's a joyfully dedicated and committed youth leader from the United Kingdom who holds the honor of being the youngest elected member of the ZTFE Managing Committee. She was also featured as a speaker at the 2019 7th World Zoroastrian Youth Congress in Los Angeles in California in USA. Shazneen has a deep passion for educating our future generation and is actively involved in organization and formation of the monumental 2023 8th World Zoroastrian Youth Congress in the United Kingdom. Shazneen Munshi graduated with an LLB degree from the King's College in London, and presently, other than sitting next to me right now in the same room outside the Atashkade here, she's working as the policy advisor to the CEO and chairman of the Financial Ombudsman Service, an alternative dispute resolution organization based in London's Canary Wharf. She also happens to be a favorite of my mummy Jaru. As Young Zoroastrian president in the United Kingdom for 5 years, together with her YZ committee, Shazneen organized a wide range of fun social events and initiatives which saw youth coming together in unprecedented numbers to form strong friendships and bonds, and a sense of unity as the community was revitalized. This unity has continued, for which we all are most grateful to Shazneen. Since 2014, Shazneen has also successfully led the Extra Young Zoroastrians, the XYZ Fun Club religious education classes for children. Shazneen has worked hard to put together a comprehensive syllabus and found innovative ways to teach children about the beauty of the Zoroastrian religion and how to apply the teachings to everyday lives. The classes have proved popular not only in children living in the UK, but also around Europe, and that too virtually. Bravo to you, our dear Shazneen. As the youngest elected member of the ZTFE Managing Committee, Shazneen has represented the voices and interests of the younger generation. She firmly believes that this position is not only about being reactive, but proactive and taking an affirmative initiative no matter how small the task. She plays a key role in organizing a new initiative called Together Old and Young Zoroastrians, which has seen children and senior citizens bonding and learning from each other through taking part in the various activities. As part of her love for heritage and culture, Shazneen founded the Parsi Theatre Revival Group in 2017, bringing together a group of volunteers to put on special performances of a traditional Parsi natak. Shazneen has also given a number of BBC appearances. In 2018, she gave an interview on what Freddie Mercury meant to the Zoroastrian youth, which even featured her singing. And in 2019, the BBC followed Shazneen to the 7th World Zoroastrian Youth Congress held in Los Angeles for a radio documentary looking for love, the Zoroastrian way, which was broadcast on BBC World Service. Wow, what an amazing spirit of communal involvement, Shazneen. Thank you. Kudos to you for serving with that pristine dedication, and we wish you the very best. Shazneen is also a volunteer with the Care in the Zoroastrian Community. And today the CZC, which is part of the ZTFE, as the Zoroastrian Trust Funds of Europe, Care for the Elders program, is celebrating its 4th anniversary here in the ZTFE, for which we give credit to the whole group. Over to you, Shazneen, for your presentation. Thank you. And thank you, Yesdi, for sharing the presentation.
Thank you very much, Karishma, for that. Hello? Yeah. Thank you very much, Karishma, for that very kind introduction. And so good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to be here today to share with you my experience of living my everyday life as a sample of our beautiful examples set by our Zoroastrian teachings. My main passion in life is making a positive difference to our treasured Zoroastrian community through bringing together our youth and children to form those important social bonds and friendships, educating our youth about the great beauty of our religion and empowering them to follow Zoroastrianism as a way of life. This has largely been driven by my own personal experience growing up in the UK, which has made me understand the importance of our values and feeling connected to our community from a very early age. Having lived in small suburban towns far away from London for most of my life, it has been an interesting experience growing up in England's green and pleasant land, home to the royal family, afternoon tea, Shakespeare, cricket, and of course, my favourite, Paddington Bear. My parents were first-generation migrants from India and Kenya who settled in the UK in the late 1970s. For one, we were the only Indian family in our neighbourhood, and I was one of a handful of Asian children at school. Secondly, most people hadn't heard about Zoroastrians, and the most common response would be, "Did you say you were a Rastafarian?" Which was entertaining to say the least. Thirdly, we lived very far from our Zoroastrian centre in London, which meant visits were rare and interaction with other Zoroastrian children was minimal or practically non-existent growing up. However, and finally, seeing the looks of interest on your classmates' faces as you got changed for sports at school with your Southern Custy showing would also be an interesting experience. However, there were many challenges, but I've always felt a very strong sense of pride and joy about being a Zoroastrian. Having grown up in a traditional Zoroastrian Parsi family, I've understood the core values of good thoughts, good words, and good deeds from an early age, and consciously tried to apply these in my everyday life. Whether it's in my personal life, with family and friends, professional capacity as a policy advisor, or when serving our Zoroastrian community as young Zoroastrian president and leader of our fun club classes. I'm now going to share with you what our Zoroastrian teachings mean to me and how I practically endeavor to apply these to my everyday life. So first of all, our Houman. For me, the great beauty of our religion is that it is all about positive action. Rather than being prescriptive, the philosophy of good thoughts, good words, and good deeds places individual responsibility on us as human beings to use our Houman, good mind, to make the right choices in life. For me, therefore, it is not about how many times a day we pray or attending Jushans. It is about how we treat each other as human beings and the world in which we live and the environment. Secondly, treating each other with honesty, kindness, empathy, and respect. Good thoughts, good words, and good deeds, above all, for me, means treating each other with honesty, kindness, empathy, and respect. Treating others as you'd want to be treated. This is something that has always been in the forefront of my mind when interacting with everyone, and particularly thinking about, Thank you, Karishma. So, don't have enough hands here. Just turn the page. Okay, so with regards to volunteering and community service, it's important to remember that whenever you have a group of human beings working together, there will inevitably be politics and managing different opinions. But what I've found in my involvement with the community is it's important to respect each other's viewpoints and above all, find a way to move forward positively together. So sometimes being involved in Zoroastrian meetings is essentially like being a UN member. Doing the right thing for the greater good. For me, good deeds essentially means doing the right thing for the greater good. All too often in our community, we have a culture of self-congratulating or felicitating each other, sometimes, egos, and sometimes also yes people, where, people may do things for the wrong reasons. And this then discourages the youth from getting involved, in my experience. Instead, we need people not to be afraid to speak up. And we need people to have the confidence to do so for the greater good. Of course, in a respectful manner at all times. Representing the voices of women, children, and the youth in our community is something that is very close to my heart. And it was a privilege to have honest conversations about these key issues as a panelist at the World Congress in New York in July. As YZ Chair, previous YZ Chair, Fun Club leader, and a management committee member, I've always worked with the ultimate goal in mind, which for me is to do good work for the benefit of the entire Zoroastrian community without any expectation of reward or recognition. Humility is key. It fills me with a strong sense of joy and happiness to simply just see the community together in harmony and enjoying each other's company, as well as friendships and bonds being established. Essentially, together, if we harness our collective power and indomitable Zoroastrian spirit for the betterment of the entire Zoroastrian community, we will create a strong legacy and keep the Zoroastrian flame burning for future generations to come. Now, is the next slide on? Yeah, thanks, sorry. Okay, so, brilliant, thank you. So now, as we prepare for the 8th World Zoroastrian Congress in London in July 2023, our dynamic youth organising team are taking a proactive and collaborative approach where we are truly living the values of Zoroastrianism as the next generation. Where there have been challenges, we have treated each other with kindness and empathy, listened to and respected everyone's views. Ensured democracy by voting on key decisions and come together as a strong, cohesive unit to ensure that the Congress is a wonderful and fun experience for our global community. You too can enjoy what our vibrant UK community has to offer. So if you have children, grandchildren, please do encourage them to attend the 8th World Zoroastrian Congress in London, July 2023. This will be a once-in-a-lifetime experience where the youth will be able to meet young Zoroastrians from all over the world and make lifelong bonds and friendships. Registration will be opening shortly. Please do visit our 8th World Zoroastrian Youth Congress website and Instagram page for further details. We would absolutely love to see all the youth there. London, baby, is where it's at. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shazneen, for that lovely introduction to your thought process as the leadership position that you hold. An example of your life is a leadership example for the rest of the youth and us to emulate. You can stop screen sharing now, Yesdi. Thank you. Our next speaker is Professor Emeritus Dr. Coomi Vevaina from India. And it gives me immense pleasure, and it is a distinctive honor to introduce Professor Vevaina. This outstanding Zartushti lady has personal and professional credentials that not only make the community proud, but make me realize what great dedication, education, and being the granddaughter of my most favorite Dasturji Emendala means to the community. Thank you, Auntie. She has been bestowed with the honor of Professor Emeritus and has served as the former professor and head of Department of English at the University of Mumbai. As an education futurist and as the founding director of the annual Global Tipping Point Summit and a TEDx speaker, an internationally acclaimed educator and literary critic, creative writer, teacher, educator, and storyteller, Dr. Coomi Vevaina truly leads the way forward. Professor Emeritus Dr. Vevaina is from Christ University, Pune, and holds a double PhD in literature and education, both rooted in psychology. She is the founder director of Center for Connection, Education and Management, and a retired professor and head of Department of English, University of Mumbai, in India. In the field of education, she is deeply involved in innovative, learner-centric curriculum, designing, teaching, and pedagogy and evaluation techniques. Dr. Coomi Vevaina has 2 PhD degrees to her credit, one in literature and the other in education, both of which are rooted in psychology. And she says that she really dedicates her life so that other people can grow. And the reason I know this is I've attended one of her Global Tipping Point Summits, very kindly also helped out by Mr. Yasdi Tantra. And I've seen her in action as she helps to help other people have a voice to teach others. We'll now go through some of her achievements, kindly penned by Mr. Meher Amal Zadji, who writes our biographies. Dr. Vevaina has published 11 books and 58 papers, has appeared in peer-reviewed national and international journals and critical anthologies. Yasdi, would you like to please share the screen now for us so we can see it? She has won numerous national and international awards and is a renowned speaker who delivers lectures and leads seminars and workshops for teachers and parents. Now, she's won numerous national and international awards and is a renowned speaker who delivers lectures and leads seminars, workshops for teachers and parents. She's passionate about teaching and has been actively involved in curriculum designing at all levels and has helped set up study centers in India and abroad. On the next slide, we can see some of her other achievements. Thank you, Yasdi. In 2013, her book on education, Sourceful Intelligence, Understanding Uniqueness and Oneness Through Education, was selected as among the 18 best books published in the USA. And in 2013, in her most recent book, What Children Really Want, has received critical acclaim from educators, psychologists, parents, and writers from around the world, and even the Dalai Lama. In August-September 2015, she was selected by the world leaders in education as one of the 35 women from across the world changing educational paradigms, and was asked to present a paper at the international conference at the University of Waikato in Hamilton, New Zealand. Recently, she has directed 2 online international tipping point summits that were attended by 7,332 participants from India and abroad. And currently she's engaged in creating the PEGC framework, the Personalized Education for Global Citizenship, in alignment with sustainable development goals of the United Nations and UNESCO's 4 pillars of learning. Dr. Coomi Vevaina has her own storytelling organization called Wonderfully Yours, which hosts storytelling programs and conducts training workshops on storytelling for enhanced eco-literacy, socio-literacy, and psycho-literacy. It is said, in life, the only thing we take with us is our capacity to love. And Dr. Vevaina takes every opportunity to show her love of humanity with her full capacity. Thank you very much to you for being our featured Bahumata speaker. Over to you, Dr. Vevaina. Thank you. Dr. Vevaina, please unmute yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, Karishma. Thank you, Baba Meher. Thank you, Yasdi. And thanks to the complete team of Bahumata for this honor. I'm delighted to be here. And in the next 7 minutes, I will quickly tell you the way I think of actually living out the principles of our religion. The theme, as we know, is life is a sample of our example. My thinking as a child was also firmly grounded in three principles of our religion: good thoughts, good words, and good deeds. Having the honor and the good fortune of being the great-granddaughter of Dastuji Dr. Dala, I had been encouraged from my childhood virtually to live by these principles and to live with a lot of love and affection, irrespective of all the idiosyncrasies of people. So my education practice from the earliest times has been constructivist. And as we know, constructivism means that I do not own the meaning. We create meaning together. And we scaffold meaning. So from the first day I started teaching, I thought to myself, I am not going to give my students answers, give them information, but we'll work on it together. So from the first day of teaching, my teaching has been constructivist. It has also been collaborative. And this is the key to everything that I do even today. I do not believe that I'm the only one capable of good thoughts, good words, good deeds, irrespective of their religion, irrespective of their background. Everyone is capable of that. And my good thoughts, good words, and good actions should inspire others. As Mobid Yar said during the first session that we had today, there is inner wisdom and wisdom that comes through learning. So when the two combine, magic can happen and we can tackle all the global problems. The third way in which I think of education is inquiry-based, critical as well as creative thinking. And my endeavor is to ensure that we bring up a generation, the next generation, and the generations to come as capable of thinking both critically as well as creatively. And this can be managed in class. In 2013, I came up with a teaching pedagogy called Technopoesis. And Technopoesis is a consciousness-changing pedagogy. It is something that teachers have tried out all over the world, from the pre-primary to the professional levels. It changes consciousness from a self versus other consciousness. It doesn't have to be me versus you, to a self and other consciousness, which is rooted in collaboration and cooperation. And reaching this third stage, which is all is self. As quantum scientists tell us, we are all energetically interconnected. And that is the stage that we take our children to when we work with Technopoesis. The other aspect of education that I'm also extremely interested in is integrative education, which is not teaching subjects in separate silos. I know that some of the good educational practices all over the world do not do that in the earlier stages, but later on, when we come to higher education, we're still thinking and working in silos. Even in my MA class, when doing postgraduate teaching, teaching of literature, I brought in so much more: history, sociology, and perhaps sometimes even economics and several other subjects to make my teaching more interesting. So integrative teaching is something that is, again, very, very dear to me. And lastly, I also believe that education should inspire reflection in both teachers as well as learners. So mere summative assessments with grades mean very, very little. I'm much more in favor of formative assessments, and even that in creative ways, which examine not mere accumulation of knowledge, but also life skills. So what we are working on, and by we, I mean my entire team of educationists, we're working on inspiring reflection in both students as well as facilitators, teachers. Next slide, Yasti. The program that I'm currently working on is the Personalized Education for Global Citizenship program. As Karishma mentioned, I have hosted 2 international summits, the Global Tipping Point Summit 2021 and the Global Tipping Point Summit 2022. Both of these have been supported very majorly by Yasdi Tantra. Yasdi is on my advisory board and he is a constant source of support to me. So the Personalized Education for Global Citizenship program, which we call PEGC, has resulted mainly from the Global Tipping Point Summit 2022. With the support of 55 leaders in education from all over the world, 7 of us are involved in redesigning consciousness-changing teaching pedagogy and assessment. And what does this mean? This means that we bring in a lot of ideas from the best practices in education all over the world. So how does a teacher teach effectively? By bringing in NBL, nature-based education, art-based education, mainly concentrating on thinking-based education, creative as well as critical, as I mentioned earlier, bringing in mindfulness, bringing in activity, games and gamifications without overwhelming the teacher, because teachers already have their hands full. And as we know in India, the classes are really big, but we are working out different strategies to enable teachers to give the students an amazing learning experience. And of course, in that process, the teacher also grows and learns. So the book I'm currently working on is called Educating to Empower, Raising Better Children for a Better World. And the other book is Freedom Through Mindfulness. Both these books go together because one concentrates on the professional development of teachers and the other on their personal development. You can't really neglect human skills anymore. As we know, human skills are going to be our differentiating marker in an increasingly automated world. So when teachers combine the two, there can be and will be a change in education because we have the support of that many people who are working together. Our program will be reviewed by international reviewers. We will pilot test the PEGC program, and then we will roll it out and offer it to whoever wants it. Tata company has shown a lot of support, and Tata Class Edge is going to showcase this program. It's going to be offered all over India, and a company called EduSpark is going to disseminate this information internationally. So I feel very humbled. I am absolutely thrilled with the kind of cooperation that I'm getting from people, and I hope to continue as long as I can. In case you need to contact me, next slide, my contact details are here. It's very simply csvevaina@gmail.com. And if any of you here are interested in education, I would be very, very happy to connect with you. With that, thank you very much, Karishma. Thanks to everyone here, and a big God bless.
Thank you very much, Dr. Coomi Vevaina, for sharing your thoughts with us, for sharing the inspiration of the work that you're doing, which to me in so many ways reflects the work of and inspiration of my favorite Dasturji M.N. Thala. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have time for some questions, for a discussion. And until we have our first question, I'd like to put a question to Dr. Vevaina, and if possible also to Shazneen, so that we get 2 different perspectives on the same question. And that is, how do you suggest that a student looks at a leader or a teacher in the same way that we can look at the Fravashi within that person to guide us, and not just ask a question for the sake of a question, or not just for the sake of that topic, but so that we can take from the elder the wealth of experience the elder has to offer. Any thoughts on that? Dr. Vevaina, first you, please.
I think the teacher obviously comes with a lot of experience, and I'm hoping with a lot of love. Because as I've said, if you don't love teaching, please don't get into teaching. It is the most wonderful profession. It's going to keep you active. It's going to keep you young, and you have to be willing to learn. So when I approach a person, my students, I approach my students as kindred spirits. I have something to learn from them. And when I show that eagerness to learn, they are ready to reciprocate, and they want to learn what is there in me. So there is this heart-to-heart connection, as neuroscientists, you would say, that with mirror neurons, we catch on the emotions of each other. And that is the kind of experience that I've had wherever I've taught, all over the world, or at any level, the pre-primary level, whether it's little 3-year-old kids, or it's the university people that I'm working with at refresher courses. I connect with my heart, and they're ready to take from me, and I'm ready to learn.
Wonderful, thank you. We'll pass on to Shazneen for her thoughts on this matter. Over to you, Shazneen.
I completely agree with
Coomi.
I completely
Coomi is
agree with
good.
Kumi Auntie. So I think love's a very important element when you're teaching children. You know, children, they can see everything. You know, they yeah, you can't hide with children. Like, they can see if you're genuine, you know, if you've got that love, and you've got to just, you know, just be genuine and have that relativity. Can't say the word. Relatability. That's it. Yeah. You know, just sort of be very empathetic. You've got to, you know, lots of active listening, and seeing them as a teacher as well, because there's a lot of things that I can learn from the children as well. You know, they see things in a very you know, perceptive way. They see the world in a way that, you know, maybe us as adults may not see things, and sometimes in a more beautiful and in a clearer way. So, you know, just picking up on that, and yeah, just again, that heart-to-heart connection.
Thank you, Shazneen. What you've just said, both of you, actually, to me, reflects what is in the Gathas. Because in the Gathas, Asho Zarathustra is supposed to have said, and I can't quote exactly, but it says, Ahura Zausho Mazdao, for the love of Ahura Mazda. In the Hoshbam, we say, Hamim Twahakma. So we're looking to Ahura Mazda for teaching. And the Fravashi, which is the essence of Ahura Mazda, is in each one of us, particularly when we're learning. We should see it in our teachers. So in the Hoshbam, we say, Hamim Twahakma. We want to go closer to Ahura Mazda for friendship. And in Yasna 28.9, we say, Yuzem Zevisht Yoghangsho. So that Isho, the desire to be, and Zevish, loving friendship and strengthening love. We see that in Ahura Mazda as the words of Asho Zarathustra teach us. And so in the context of the Fravashi within our teachers, thank you both for enlightening us further from your own perspectives. We have one question from Meher Master. What is your work? Please unmute yourself if you'd like to ask your own question. Just raise your hand and Yazdi will unmute you. It's to you, Dr. Vevaina. So I'll hand over to Dr. Meher Master, who should unmute herself first.
Thank you. It was a very interesting presentation. I really enjoyed listening to you, Coomi. I'd like to know more about Christ University, what's happening there and how it connects with you.
I have been associated with Christ University, Bangalore, mainly, the literature department. I've been helping them create very innovative courses. And I feel that this is one university where a lot of very important work is happening and in the right spirit. So I associated myself with Christ University, Bangalore, while I was head of Department of English University. And then after my retirement, I am now associated with their new campus in Pune, Lavasa, where I'm doing a lot of teacher training. I'm working with the students. I'm working on issues of mindfulness for both teachers as well as students. I'm doing a lot of literature programs with them and also teaching the students what research is. So it really ties into the kind of work that I'm currently doing. Though the PGC program is for the foundational years, yet every year we are planning to move to higher grades and move up to higher education as well. So actually my interest is in all of education, and Christ University mainly takes care of higher education.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your interest. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Coomi Vevaina. I'm really grateful to you for sharing your years of expertise in such a nutshell. Thank you. If anybody has any further questions.
There seemed to be a question here, but I didn't complete reading it.
Farhan Rostamian. Farhan, would you, Professor Farhan Rostamian, I should say, a biochemist from California, if I remember right. Farhan Jan, would you like to unmute yourself? Hamazor Beam.
Hamazur Beam, good morning. Good morning. Thank you for your lovely presentation. I'm from Vancouver. I'm from Canada.
I think we've lost her.
No, I'm here. Here we open our Avesta classes and our Gata classes. Dr. Rustin Mehri is hosting our classes. But the problem we have here is that we cannot encourage the youth and our students to bring them to Darbemer. Every other Sunday we have classes. Almost 10 to 15 students appear, and then they gradually, we get lost of them. So how we can encourage them to bring them? What is your advice for us to bring more youth? Because living in the Western world, our kids are very busy with other stuff. They are working, or they have classes, they have universities, they have program, and they want to join their programs. So would you please guide us? We do not lose our children. They will be melt to the Western world culture. We want to keep them for us. And later on, they would marry out of religion, they would marry with strangers, and then hurts our heart. But how we can, and when we say, don't do that, you're Zoroastrian, he said, Mom, it's my choice, or Dad, it's my choice. You are not going to live with this X and X. So please guide us to keep our children for us. That is our next generation problem for every family. Thank you so much for your education.
Thank you, Farhan Jan, for that very insightful question. Yazdi, after Dr. Coomi Vevaina, maybe please bring in Shazneen also into this. Shazneen, with your permission. Dr. Coomi Vevaina, may I please request you to give your thoughts first?
I can only share my thoughts. I know the reality of Canada because my specialization is in Canadian literature. And I've lived and worked in Canada for a very long time. I know what you mean. That's also a problem, I think, at our end. And I don't think I have the answer to it, but I can share my point of view. I feel that the youth today are looking for things which are much more experiential rather than theoretical. When I go to work with teachers, the young teachers are telling me, Ma'am, don't tell us the why of it. Just tell us what we're supposed to do and we'll do it. Now, I think I would regard this as an insult if someone just told me, do this, without knowing the why. But the youth of today, their minds are so cluttered with 1,000 things that they have no patience for thoughts to develop. I love complexity in thought. I don't like a thought to be complicated. And I can put it across very lucidly, but they don't have the patience for it. So what do? In order to lure them, this is just a technique that I use and I've succeeded, is I think make things very, very experiential. So I take the theory part and I tell them, this is a session which is going to talk about nature and conservation. And a lot of students who are interested in nature and conservation would want to attend. And that's when we sneak in all the other bits of philosophy, etc. That's what I do in class. So, I mean, my own Dastuji Dr. Dala, my great-granddad, he has talked very, very eloquently about the importance of nature in our religion. So I would bring in that and a little more and a little more, and then ask them if they would take up an action project. And then most of them are eager to do the action project. Even with my GTPS, I never thought that people would be interested in doing action projects. We offered it to people online, and 352 people just took it up. So it may surprise us, but I think when we make things very concrete, and when we try to bring them in through the back door using a little bit of jugglery, it works.
That's right.
Thank you very much, Dr. Vevaina. Thank you, Faranjan, for your question. I'd like to bring in Shazneen Munshi here because she runs a very successful XYZ fun club, and she calls it the Fun Club for Europe and England. And the children really seem to enjoy themselves learning about the religion and about being better people. So over to our young leader.
Okay, thank you. So in terms of our Fun Club classes, we run them on the second Sunday of every month, and it can vary from having 25 children to 60 children. So we had 60 last month, and there have been challenges. It's hard to keep and retain those children because of challenges in everyday life, such as exams. If the kids are involved in sports, later on as they become teenagers as well, their interest can wane. However, what we've done is the approach we've taken is that we've run classes simultaneously for different age groups. So I have a 4 to 6 year age group, I have a 7 to 9, a 10 to 12, and a teenagers one. And with those age groups, we tailor the content according to their age. So for example, for the younger children, they may prefer arts and crafts activity, learning with their hands, getting, messy with paint, whereas older children, they may prefer quizzes, and making it fun, writing, drawing. Also, the topics is a crucial thing. So for example, we've run special classes on Zarathustra and the mind, so, mental health. Then we've also run classes on Zoroastrianism and climate change when we're talking about the creation story. So I think one of the key things as well in terms of retaining the children and especially the teenagers is making the content relatable to their everyday life. So today, for example, we ran a class on Zoroastrianism, social media. So, how can you use the principles you taught in Zoroastrianism with social media? So it's making it relatable. I think that's what we found, has really helped. And also using different strategies. So the way I teach is making sure we engage the head, the heart, and the hands. So that's a Steiner philosophy, I believe, of teaching. And with the head, that's quizzes, going to for museums visits, teaching the kids Gujarati, Persian words. Then the heart, that's things like role plays, songs. Humor is also very important. So humor is very important as well. And the hands finally is arts and crafts. We've done things like growing your own plants, fun team building games, and also intergenerational learning. So, having events where we have the older people and the younger people together. So there's a lot of strategies that, we can use to engage our youth and which can be effective. And these kind of strategies, I've used them over here, but I've also got some in in the States as well. I did a talk about this in New York, and they've used these same strategies as well. So these are things that actually, you know, can be effective. I hope that helps.
Yes, Shazneen, thank you very much. We've got you on this, we've got you here, and we've got you next to us here. So we've got three of you.
Triple trouble.
We're in the same space outside the Atash Kadeh at the ZTFE. And because Zoom picks up sounds from neighboring instruments, we've had to mute one, and Mum's been listening to her more clearly on the phone.
Is it all
She's
right
quite
for me to
soft.
add, just add a couple of things here?
Please.
One of the things, particularly with the older group, one of the things that I feel succeed very well is to ask them what they wish to know and make their questions and their thinking visible. And working with that, you know, maybe just a whiteboard or maybe stickers, anything where they want to write their questions and then make it more need-based. So I am answering your questions instead of telling you what I think you need to know. And again, I think this succeeds with the older kids.
Vevaina, we have a question from a person in the audience called A Vision of Health to Everyone. We also have a comment right at the beginning by Mr. Mehran Seferi on long introductions leaves little time for presentations and discussion. We give you respect for your thoughts and thank you for sharing them. And I'm very grateful to Mr. Meher Amal Prasad for writing the biographies for us. And there's a reason for this. And that is so that our worldwide audience is brought closer together, not just to take in the messages of Asho Zarathustra Sahib, the Gathas, the meanings of the prayers, but also to get to know the Zoroastrians who are sharing these messages with us, so that with respect for our speakers, we can imbibe their knowledge even more. So that is the reason for us to get to know the speakers, and it takes hundreds of hours of Mr. Meher Amal Sad's time to do this for us. We'll take the one last question or comment from A Vision of Health to Everyone. Yes, may we see your vision, sir, madam?
Oh, I am so sorry, you guys. You know, this is me, Sam Billy Moria. Unfortunately, it is kind of, you know, this professional thing is getting in the way in Zoom, and I really don't know how to kind of just let it go. But however, Dr. Vevaina, thank you very much for your presentation. I noticed that you are taking a kind of a divergent view as it is in medicine. I would imagine that you are thinking outside the box and you're taking the concept of holistic education, if I may say so, in a Turner. It is like very much like in medicine, right?
Absolutely.
How do you see, doctor, how do you see it progressing in the way of academic studies and the way that colleges will see this particular type of education as furthering higher education? I would be interested in that, because I would imagine that you have kept it probably at school level, or is it also kind of filtering into college level education? I'd just like to have your thoughts on that.
Sure. I'll be as brief as possible. I understand that we are running out of time, but I have tried it out at the university level where I've been teaching. There are certain concepts, for instance, that we all are talking about. My German department, the different language departments are all teaching Derrida, all teaching Bakhtin, and yet we're teaching them to our students in isolation. So first I get the language departments in. Then if I'm doing a novel, for instance, by an Australian Aboriginal writer, I would definitely want to bring in someone, at least online, if that person is here, any teacher, maybe the writer himself or herself, and get all the students to meet the sociology students as well as the literature students and look at the novel from different angles. So we have our book clubs. We have those, what we traditionally call our extracurricular activities. And then it's fascinating because sometimes the physics students come in and they give us a completely new insight. So when we do this kind of teaching, we just call it, of course, literature and psychology go hand in hand. So it goes without saying. So all these subjects are easy to integrate. And then when I have thrown my doors open as a teacher to any student who wants to attend my class. And so students from other departments have hopped in, from political science, from botany sometimes, any subject. And then they come up with their ideas and we share, we basically share. And they get interested in literature. Some of our students get interested in their subjects. And there is this very, very healthy exchange among students, and the teacher benefits because the teacher is also learning all the time. So I grant that it's not very easy and there is a lot of resistance to it, and particularly when it comes to creating a timetable, a schedule, because the classes could be going on simultaneously, but it can happen and it does happen. Also, I do a lot of art-based teaching. So when I'm working with a certain poem and I call in from the theater department, somebody to do a dramatic reading, from the dance department, someone to actually do a Bharatnatyam performance of an Afro-Caribbean poem that I've taught. So here we're bringing all people, all these students from different departments together, and sometimes even the teachers hop in. I hope that answers your question.
That's superb. And thank you to our people who are adding these questions and participating in this, because as in Yasnaha 51.5, Asho Zarathustra Sahib guides us to question, saying, Vispata peresas ashachitacha gam vidat. Asking all questions in the light of Asha, for the progress of the whole Gam, the whole world, the whole community. We have one last question from our respected Mabad Sahib Sanjana, and with a request which he has very kindly accepted to do a hum bandagi after his questions.
There's just one little comment I have for Shazneen Munshi. હું ગુજરાતીમાં બોલું છું કે તમે હવે કાચ કરવાનું શરૂ કરો યુથ કોંગ્રેસમાં.
Super. 1 minute. I'll have to mute this so that your question comes through. Please, could you say that again? Sorry, we're in the same room. Go ahead. Oh, it's gone. Okay, that's okay. No problem. Mabad Sahib Sanjana Sahib, Hama Zor Hama Ashobad. Please put your question and then please do a hum bandagi whenever you're ready. You need to unmute yourself first. We can't hear you yet. Yes, Sahib would have put a little thing there to you saying unmute.
Thank you.
Yes.
My simple question to both of you learned fellows, Coomi, Vevaina, and Shazneen Munshi. Thank you very much for your guidance to the community. My simple question is, do you see any significance of having Sadro Kasti as Zarathustris worldwide or not? Thank you.
Shazneen, would you like to go first?
Sure.
Did you hear me?
So, yeah, sure, yeah. In terms of like our classes, I make sure that we have it in the syllabus to explain the meaning and the significance of the Sadhran Kasti, because I think in a Western environment, a lot of times what happens is, kids have their Navjot, they just learn their prayers, they don't know what it means, they're given the Sadhran Kasti, again, it's never explained to them what it means. And that's why in our classes, we really try and explain, what all the elements mean, like the pockets, the girban, all of those things. And it's only then, once you understand the meaning, that you understand the beauty of it. And then that kind of encourages the children. And also, I personally wear it because all the time, because I feel, a sense of protection. So, that's a sense, for me, that's my personal, feeling. But we do explain the meaning and significance. I think that's the key.
I would
Thank you,
like to add,
Shazneen. Over to you, Dr.
Yes.
Vevaina.
I would like to add that this is exactly the way I look at it. When you explain the significance, when you explain the meaning, it makes sense because you're not being autocratic. You're not just saying wear it for the sake of wearing it, but you are pointing out the deeper significance of it. And then, of course, at the end of the day, it's a question of free will. After doing that, whether they choose to or they don't choose to, that is not really within our control. But of course, I haven't taught Zoroastrian studies or religion at any level, but I would completely concur with what Shazneen says.
Thank you, Dr. Vevaina. On that
Thank you.
note, there are things that I would probably, with your permission, Mobit Sahib, just conclude a little wrap up before handing over to you, if that's okay with you.
Thank you.
And that is when we use the phrase free will, Asho Zarathustra Sahib tells us very clearly in Yasnaha 30.2, which is listen, reflect, and then decide. Starting with the phrase, Strauta Gheosha Varanya, meaning listen, Sarosh, use the power of Srosha. But then in Yasna 30.3, he concludes, saying, use this independently, think person for person by yourself. For what? To develop discrimination. To develop discrimination, to distinguish between Spenta Mainu and the other. So when children are given this powerful formula, they will choose once they understand. And for this, the XYZ Club has our respected Mobit Sahib, Ervat Sahib Yazad Pada, and we also from time to time, who is a resident priest of the ZTF, a very profound young Mobit Sahib who relates to both the youth and the elders very empathetically. They're surrounded by the seniors like the president, managing committee, and others. Ruby is there, Ruby Setna as well, a very empathetic young lady, along with our own Shazneen. And we from time to time bring in other Mobit Sahibs like Ervajini Madan. So it's the power of the Mobit Sahibs and their own fire within, that fire that burns within, that truly brings out that love for Asho Zarathustra Sahib and Aura Mazda, is my feeling. And we are very blessed here and around the world. At the World Congress, we were surrounded by wonderful Mobit Sahibs. In India and other parts of the world, we have Mobit Sahibs. Our young Fravash Turel Sahib is a classic example, willing to give of his time. So thank you, Baba Meher, for bringing us these wonderful Mobit Sahibs and young leaders like Dr. Coomi Vevaina, like Shazneen Munshi, and our Ervat Sahib Fravash Turel. Please, Baban Sahib Ji, Baban Shas Ji, please go ahead. You're concluding any thoughts you have, and Aham Bandagi. Tamune Jevi.
Thank you. Hashem Vahu Vahishtamasti Ushta Asti Ushta Amai Yatashai Vahishtai Hashem. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Wo Berbani Sahib, thank you very much for your humble.
Parvadegani.
Thank you. Hamazor, Hamashobin.
Thank you.
Thank you.